guys take the wheel on House of Dragon. Go ahead.
Hot D. Hot
Matt-
D.
That hot D.
Matt, you see
Hot
it?
D. Yeah, I seen it.
You want to introduce it, bro?
Like the finale or just a recap of the thing? I mean,
Let's do just do the finale.
yeah, the finale it was pretty much just a setup for what the next season is.
Oh, the whole season was that?
Yeah, it was. But that last episode was just like, think about how the end of a season of anything, like Breaking Bad, the end of Ozark, just any show,
Right.
where they're kind of showing
R.I.P.
you
Ruth.
all the other
R.I.P.
storylines going on and where, like, what their changes and where their direction's going.
Mhm.
So that's pretty much what this episode was, the finale. So there was no climax to it. It's just the start of the war, showing what's going on. But apparently, so my friend who's read all the books, he knows everything that's going to go on. He was kind of disappointed, saying that, yeah, there should have been 2 more episodes. He was like,
Yeah.
what, like, where they leave off here, the next 2 episodes or next episode, there's not going to really be like that big a deal. So the beginning of the next season, like, they should have left in this season. Like, the way this season ended wasn't spectacular. It was just kind of a flip, like, oh, here's what we're going to.
You've seen all the Game of Thrones, right?
Oh, yeah, because I was about to compare it to that.
Where would you put this in, like, that whole, like, just category of Game of Thrones seasons?
Like the season itself?
Yeah, the season itself. This season.
It's definitely better than season 8, 7, and 6.
Jesus, how many?
I'd say that. So Game of Thrones has 8 seasons.
No, Game
8,
of Thrones.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
So I would
It has
say
eight- the
I would
first one
say
has 8
it's
seasons.
better than the last 3 seasons of Game of Thrones.
don't
I
know
like
about
this
6.
season better than the first season of House
for
of
real?
Dragon. Yeah,
Okay.
because I would say the first season was just to establish the characters. By the end of the first season, I was still like, all right, like their objective is I want to be queen and I want to be queen. All right, like, so what? I didn't see like what was the draw. This season showed me where the draw is. It made me feel for the characters. I really liked how Rhaenyra was like, every single time she tried to come up with a plan, her counsel was like, no, you're a woman. We're gonna do our stuff. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you. You're
they
a
touched on that
woman.
a
You
lot.
don't have anything to say here. Thank you. So she's just like, all right, fuck this, and then just starts doing her own thing with that one lady, and she starts picking up the sword again, and she's like, I'm gonna start fucking doing my own thing, and I like that, and. Matt Smith's character Damon, he's been a fuck up the whole season, but
Yeah.
I mean the whole series, but then this season he's going through like psychological shit, trying to go on his own and being haunted in that castle. And I really liked the part where they showed like he had like a future sight or something. Somebody worked in his mind.
Yeah, that
and
was
he saw Game
when
of
he touched
Thrones.
the tree, right?
Yeah, it was the
When the
elder
tree started,
tree or
yeah,
whatnot.
the elder tree. Yeah.
He saw the Game of Thrones shit, like the Night Walkers. He saw Daenerys, and the Night Walkers. They're not in the book. Like that was only well, I think they were like mentioned, but they were never
Yeah, I thought they were.
in the book. They're only just like mentioned, like
Okay.
oh, winter's coming. There's dastardly danger coming.
Yeah.
That's as far as they ever got in the book. They were never shown. Night King's never even been shown in the books. So them showing that in this show was interesting. And then after that, he was like, oh, I don't want to be king anymore, Rhaenyra. I want you to be queen. So now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, cool. I know what I want to get into, but they didn't even start the war. They didn't really like pick it up. It was just like they're just kind of starting. So it's like, okay. It's like how I feel after I watched Dune 2. I was like, that was phenomenal. I'm into it. The story's probably going to be the best, most spectacular thing ever. But the way that ends, I'm just like, all right, I'm ready for the next.
All right, so when the actual like,
Yeah, it's
war
not like the
began.
end and you're like, oh my God, I need it now. I need this shit now. But like the way the season, like you were comparing to Game of Thrones, I was going to compare it. The finale,
Yeah.
like the finale of season 1, 2, 3, 4 of Game of Thrones was enough to make you go, what the fuck?
Especially
Holy
4, yeah,
shit,
yeah.
I need to see more now. Like the end of the first season, the character
With
you
the-
thought was going to be the main character gets
They
his
kill him
fucking
off,
head cut
yeah.
off. You're just like, whoa, wait. All right. But the end of this season is just like, okay, I'm ready for the next.
Well, I also think like with Game of Thrones, because I watched it like late after it, like
Same.
when it was like, I think I watched it up until the episode where John died and everything.
Really?
Where,
Okay. I watched it way
like-
later. I watched it.
So I was able to watch it concurrently. So, and it wasn't like in the mainstream media like that. People weren't really in the Game of Thrones, so a lot of people were. It was just quiet on there. So now that it's such a big thing, it's just anticipated so much. And also, like, I know that they spend more money on House of Dragon than they did like the original Game of Thrones and everything. And I would expect them just to tell a little bit more story. Like even with the whole sea snake thing, I told you this on the phone. The whole sea snake thing, bro. They was there for like 8 episodes. Then they finally set out in the water, bro. They used that same set for 8 episodes straight.
So
and
my
it was just a
friend
whole lot of
was,
dialogue.
telling me, Stevie, the way that the book that this show is adapting from, the book is not written like a traditional story. It's written like a history book where
Oh yeah, it's like an encyclopedia.
So he said the way that what Damon goes through going to Harrenhal and then coming back, in the book, all it literally says is Damon goes on his own to trying to find peace or his own solitude in Harrenhal, and then comes back and bends the knee to Rhaenyra. That's it.
Okay.
So they were just kind of adding more to it to be like, we got to give him a reason to want to be like, I don't want to be king anymore, because his whole reason was I want to be king.
I can appreciate that. Yeah.
So that's what I liked about it, because he was starting to go crazy. They gave him a
really
legitimate reason to be like, all right, you know what? I don't want to be king. Fuck that. I don't want to.
And I also think it was with dealing with the people too, because he had to deal like they were waking him up at night.
And they were like
so
lower
irritated.
people. They weren't like typical higher ups, higher borns who were super fancy. They were like just typical dudes.
He didn't really want the crown. Like he wanted the power that came with it, but he doesn't want the responsibility.
Yeah, it was. That's what they pretty much the dreams were showing him was. It was just he was just projecting. His brother was king, and he was just like, I should be special. That's all he wanted. Yeah. That's all it literally was.
I can appreciate that, Sindo.
But then comparing to like Game of Thrones and the way that they're making it an actual. Like how the Game of Thrones is based off a book that is told like a real story. This is based off like a history book. Them telling their like point of views, they had to come up with themselves. They didn't really have anything to base off, because in the books, they're not saying how the characters felt. They didn't know how they felt. Yeah, they're just like, oh yeah, this character did this. This character did this. In history, this person did this. So filling in those little stuff, I think they're doing a really good job at that. But I'm somebody that I really love like hero character or a character. I'm like, everything you're doing, I would do in this world, and like I would follow you in this world. Still isn't that character yet. Kind of Rhaenyra.
So still not a character that draw you in. That's where I get like a lot of people like will say like, yo, I love Game of Thrones and I tried to watch House of Dragon, but it's not like a character that I'm drawn to yet. Like it's not. I don't have like a Cersei. I don't have like a fucking Jon Snow.
No, Brandon Stark, no.
So, could I ask, what are you following the story for then? Like, what keeps y'all watching for 2 seasons now?
Yeah, so what's actually great about
I don't sound that enthused.
It is, so Game of Thrones
Targaryens and dragons
was a spectacular...
It's a spectacle?
Yeah.
Well, no, the Targaryens they were extinct in the first season.
Yeah.
In the first Game of Thrones, they're extinct. Now, in this one, this
is the whole story of them.
Yeah.
But Game of Thrones was a traditional story that showed, so an example of the Starks, they're like your typical protagonists. They're your good-hearted, good moral, good rootin' tootin' people that you want to root for, and they're in this awful world, and then you see them go through this world, and then there's politics, and it becomes a spectacle. It's a great. House of the Dragon isn't meant to be like an entertaining story. It's more so a retelling of politics. It's a very political show. There are a lot of moments that are like on the nose of what's going on in today's world, and like actual politics and wars that happened before. Like, so a big domino effect that's going on.
Put you right to sleep.
Yeah, that's why I'm like.
Then they cut off a kid head. You're like, what the fuck?
No, you think so? Like the main thing that it's showing is the domino effect. So the two queens who are at a war with each other were best friends when they were kids. The king, when he was dying, his whole life wanted one to be queen, but as he was dying and not thinking correctly, said the other girl's name and then died. So she's like, I'm the queen. She's like, no, I want to be queen. Now there becomes a domino effect where one's like, no, like I don't want to fight, I don't want to do this anymore. But then one of her people killed one of her people's like kids. Oh, yeah. So she's like, you killed my son. We have to have something. Like I can't just say no. Let's stop this. You killed my son. I gotta kill one of your sons or something. And they were discussing that, like let's end this. Then one of her people secretly kill one of her kids. Now it's just back and forth thing where she's like, I want this to end, but we can't make it end because there's already blood shed. So how are we going to stop this? We can't just cry and make up. It's like a political thing where it's like, at the end of the day, we wish we could just be like, let's stop this war. Hey guys, let's just stop that. Let's just like, we're losing too much. But one side is going to be like, but what about the way you fucked me over? I can't just let this go. And then it'd be like vice versa. So then you have the conflict keeps going. That's what this show's showing. It's a political ways of, because you see them since they're kids. They don't want to be queen. They don't care about the power. It has nothing to do with
Naruto, bro.
What was that?
It sounded like Naruto, bro. The prequel, man. When the Uchihas was tearing shit up.
Shit, they can do it.
Sounds exactly like it sounds just like it, bro.
Because Game of Thrones was
they was best friends, right? And then they got into it, and then the Uchihas started tearing shit up, and then they had to get rid of all the Uchihas, and then we had to follow the story about Sasuke and this motherfucker.
And in Naruto, the Uchihas are like an extinct clan.
So they'd be just like
and
the
Targaryens.
So and then you get the story about my Martyrs running around killing folk, and now they into it.
Yep, that's exactly
So
what
look,
this is.
man.
And so it's
there you go. I just saw
the acting,
Moral of the story.
Moral of the story.
Somebody got to die. Well, we know how the story. We know how the story
and
ends.
we know how it ends too.
Because it's 200
we know how
years.
it ends. We know how the future ends.
Yep.
But you want to see. But you want to see that shit though.
Yeah, because like the fight. So the scenes.
We got Naruto, Shippuden, and Boruto, and movies in between.
Hey, people see that.
But no, it is still a spectacular spectacle. I mean, like there's still big battles. There's still great.
Yeah, it's Targaryens.
There's so much.
The Uchihas get down.
Yeah.
Hate it. That, like when I watched
keep the
first
bloodline pure.
They you the Uchihas to me.
When I watched the first season, I was not really
Everybody
into
can't
it,
have a
especially when
Sharingan.
Insta started going. I was like, oh fuck.
Literally, the first
I was just
episode
like,
of Game of Thrones, I turned it off.
No, I don't
because
blame you.
The brother and sister had sex and it knocked the little boy off the fucking
Bro, that's
well.
I gotta see the second episode.
I was like, done. I'm never coming back. And then I went back years later, and then I got through 3 seasons, and I told the story before where the girl has the baby, and it's very graphic visualization of the lady having the demon baby, and then the demon person kills one of the only gay characters.
Oh yeah, Renly.
I ain't went back since.
Renly had to go, bro. He was too soft.
I ain't went back since.
Oh,
the dude from they killed the dude that ended up becoming Iron Fist. I ain't went back since.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that was Loris Tyrell. Yeah, I know all about Game of Thrones, bro. I watched that.
Oh, that was him, huh?
But no, man, they started off the season. It's crazy because they started off the season really good.
I ain't went back since.
And they just fell flat on their face.
See,
and he became Iron Fist.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily bad. Like I wasn't dissatisfied, but
it sounds like a lot of people like House of Dragon.
No, I mean a lot of people.
It's like if you're looking for your political drama, that's it. It's perfect political drama.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Like in terms of like if you want, it has amazing action. Like it is still a spectacle. But the thing that I can compare to is they said that episode 3 was compared to Battle of the Bastards.
Bro, they said it was only 2 Battle of the Bastards fights in there. They lied. They said it was going to be 2 Battle of the Bastards battles in that shit. It was 1. And
there was an episode of Game of Thrones called Battle of the Bastards, which had 2 of the like.
Bastards.
Your most lovable, beloved character and your most hated, disgusted, despised character, and they were going at each other because one had his brother and killed him, and
it's a whole thing.
The way that it was shot, I'd honestly want to show you guys after this. I've never seen a scene like this in Lord of the Rings. No movie or show that has horses. They showed a scene where he's coming at the front line. He's sitting there ready for these horses to come, and they shot this for real. You see the armies hit each other as he's in the middle, horses flying, people flying, and it's a whole continuous shot, 1 minute of him just dodging horses, killing somebody, stabbing somebody, dodging a horse. Oh, that shit was spectacular. And then this season, they're like, oh, you're going to get that again.
Yeah, it was kind of that with the dragons. It was 2 dragons fighting.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was 3 dragons fighting.
But like the way it meant, like the impact.
You ain't selling it though, man.
Yeah,
like you talking.
Y'all not selling the show.
No, don't watch.
If I listen to this pod, I'm not watching this shit.
That's why this season. But no, we got other pods. We bigging that shit up. Bigging the whole first season up. This season was not that good.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Like in comparison, like when I heard you speak about it last season, you was